Okay. Hello. So I will focus on the role of cities. What can the European Union share with cities in other countries, in non-EU countries, emerging countries? But also, what can we learn in terms of policies, regulations? We can try to find new markets for European businesses, but also we can export processes that were successful in Europe. Why is it important? The Paris Agreement is a bottom-up based agreement, and cities will have an important role. They have a big mitigation potential. As you can see at this graph, you see the urban mitigation potential by 2050. It's significant. The global distribution of urban population among continents, you see that in Asia, almost 50% of the people are living in cities. You see the percentages, so the absolute number for Asia will strongly rise, but in terms of percentages, it remain by 50%. But it's visible that also in Africa, a strong urbanization will take place. So cities will be one of the key elements in any future mitigation success. I will zoom in on China because I'm always surprised how much happens there. In China, we have low-carbon pilot cities. They were adopted in 2010 and being implemented now, 5 provinces, 8 cities. But we have also national low-carbon industrial parks. The first 55 pilot parks have been approved. Recently also, national low-carbon community pilots have been approved. In October last year, additional national low-carbon city pilots were adopted. But it's much more. It's transportation provinces, green transportation cities, green highways, green ports. So it's like a big living lab on energy and climate policy, and it has a high level of diversity. And for sure, there are many interesting solutions that can also be of relevance for the European Union. So can the European Union benefit? Can we export or transfer anything? Of course, there's a range of technologies in which the European Union has know-how that aligns with the needs and plans of emerging countries. In some areas, in some technological areas, the European Union has competitive advantages, not only in respect to emerging countries, but also compared to our competing industrialized countries such as US and Japan. I only mention a few of them, such as low-carbon buildings, bioenergy technologies, wastewater treatments, but also urban logistics, decentralized off-grid renewable energy projects, adaptation technologies, for example, mitigating urban heat islands, but also processes, regulations could be examples for other countries. My Chinese partners always tell me they're very much interested in the soft measures, not only learning about technologies, but how do building standards, building policies work in Europe. It's a big topic for Chinese policymakers. We already heard Europe is very diverse. It's already Slovenia, much different than Austria. East, west, north, south, and here we're talking about emerging countries. Of course, it's a far higher challenge, and transferability has its limits. The limits, we, for example, have technological limits, political, socioeconomic, cultural preconditions are very different in the host countries. For example, the Chinese building stock is fundamentally different than the building stock in European countries. That is even different from east to west in Europe. The technological solutions that have been proven in the European Union may not be sufficiently useful in other cultural contexts, stakeholders in emerging countries emphasize. But I think in recent years, a lot has been going on in Europe in transferring policy and measures, for example, in the area of transport and urban development between European cities, for example, via various European Union-funded projects and networks, eCLAY. And maybe some of this experience can also be transferred to non-EU cities and backwards, beyond just pure technology transfer and policy transfer. If you want to know more about post-carbon cities, You can read on the webpage of the Pocosito project. This is also European Union funded project led by Ecologic. Many thanks.